Hello and welcome, my dear friends, once again to this third episode of Evolution of Hamlet, the theatrical in Marathi. Welcome back, and thank you for the response given to the previous episodes. Thank you once again. So today I'm going to take you to the writer's house, from where actually the journey began and where I could get my production started. I still remember it was mid-January 2017. I was flying from Chennai to Pune. As soon as I landed to Pune, from the airport I did call the writer Shri Parshuram Deshpande. That I remember. Before that, in the flight I was nervous, though I was very much prepared to pitch my presentation, my idea of the production of Hamlet to the writer. So I called him. He said he was ready to receive me, and then I went to the house. He himself and his wife, with a smiley face, they opened the door. I still remember, and it was so kind of him to them to cordially receive me. I sat on the sofa and I introduced myself first to him. I told him all about me, my passion for theatre, my theatre company, about me, my childhood, about my education, and about my journey to take over to the production of Hamlet. So all was introduced. Then he introduced me. He told me about him, which was very impressive. He is a poet. That is the new thing I learned there, that he is also a poet. He has researched, he has learned, he knows all the sonnets of Shakespeare, and he is a poet himself, so he writes a lot. Then he talked about his knowledge and his study and his research about not even one play but many of the Shakespearean plays, especially the tragedies. He has written so many books on the tragedies of Shakespeare and about the Shakespeare, which I suggest you all to go through, which will add to your knowledge certainly with that literature. So he talked about himself. I was very impressed, and I got a bit nervous because I was wondering where I will stand in front of him when I pitch. But still, I was very much passionate to pitch my idea of the production of Hamlet. And one thing was in my mind, that I had already decided, if I have to, or I had to make Hamlet, or I had to produce Hamlet, this was the script that I was going to take further or take through. Otherwise, I did not want to do any adaptations or any other translations, which I did not come across impressively. So I had no other choice than to win his heart, than to win his confidence in me. So I was very well prepared. I began to pitch now my ideas, my conception of production of Hamlet. First, I began with how passionate I was with Shakespeare work, and especially Hamlet, since my childhood. I talked to him about it. Then I told him why I want to produce and do Hamlet for Marathi theatre. Because I'm a Maharashtrian, my original language is Marathi and my mother tongue is Marathi. And I understood that so many people, even from the theatre, they had just heard about Shakespeare, they had just heard about his plays and especially the names of the plays. But exact thing was that they were not aware, or they did not see any of the Shakespeare work on theatre, especially Hamlet. So I wanted to bring Shakespeare's work and Hamlet to the Marathi audience. That was my purpose, which I told him. Secondly, I started to talk about Hamlet and Shakespeare from my point of view. Lot of directors, lot of Shakespeare readers, lot of his literature analysts, all those, they talk about Shakespeare, or they talk about the subjects, they talk about their plays through their point of view. Because Shakespeare takes you, it's an ocean of ideas, it's an ocean of themes. So whichever way you catch. So I wanted to point out my point of view looking at Shakespeare and looking at Hamlet. I told him about the themes which I was impressed and which I wanted to prominently bring in front of the audience. There are so many themes. Then my conception, my idea about how the production will look on the stage and what it will tell the audience. So I had to tell this in the story form to the writer so that he can also visualize. Now, if you want to tell a writer or tell anybody a story or do a storytelling, you should be very, very impressive in such a way that the story should be pitched in such a way that the other person can just visualize the story like a film. So I was very well prepared with the storytelling, and I wanted to take this opportunity to tell him the story or tell my idea so that he can visualize. So I took him in the visualization form. I began with my director notes. I told him about how the plots will proceed, how the plots will start, how it will look on the stage, what I am going to do in this scene, or what are the plots which I am going to make it into visualization form, how I am going to make it for the audience to understand better, of course. So all those ideas, how the plots will be brought, how the scenes will be brought, how the characters will be brought, and how they will behave on the stage, all that I could tell him. And I could I was having a director's note with me, with all the details, with all the stage blockings as well, even the lighting blockings. So all that I put in front of him as a director note. So that was a big discussion on the director point of view or directorial point of view. Then I told him that I was very much keen on other departments because I'm very much passionate as an actor, not only as a director, limiting to direction or acting, but I'm very passionate about other departments too, like lighting, costumes, sets, and all the elements. So being a lighting designer first, I have done several lighting designing for stage and films and many events. So I told him about the blockings, each plot, how it will be seen in the lights, what lights I am going to use, what is the design of my lights for Hamlet. So I told him about the lighting designing as well, how in the lights I can create the atmosphere, whether it is an exterior or whether it is an interior of the castle. So I told him in details about the lighting as well, and that was a plus point because not only direction but being a lighting designer also I could explain him I think very well. So I took the lighting designing part to him first. Then I talked about the costumes, which is very important. I did not want to make any costumes in India because that was, if it becomes not up to my expectation, then it will go west. So I did not think of making or stitching the costumes here in India. I imported the costumes from UK and Germany. I told him that already the costumes are there with me even before the production had started. The costumes was very specific because they were from medieval era. So they were from 16th and 17th century, and they had to suit it very well, to the characters which I'm going to play on the stage. So I was very keen. I did not compromise. I imported the costumes from foreign countries so that they look very real and from that era. Next thing, stage designing or the set designing or the scenery. The scenery, I talked him that I wanted a realistic set. I was not keen on symbolic set. I did not want to compromise. It was my first production also, so I wanted to bring all the elements from all the departments with the same strength as direction or an acting or the content. So I did not compromise there also. I talked to him about the interior of the castle, how it will look, how it will be placed, and why the significance of the placing of the properties or the placing of the setting. So I talked about that in details, and overall how it will look on the stage. So this was discussed in details by me. I was impressed because I really adore Parshuramji for one thing, that he's a very good listener, and that is how one should be. It is a skill one should imbibe, and he had that. He did not interrupt me at all. He listened to me in the whole journey of my pitching of the idea. Then he started to discuss how this will go and how that will go, and he had some questions which I could answer and clarify or justify because I was so prepared. After all this pitching, I wanted to specify one more thing, which is the music. The music is very critical. It should not look Indianized very much, because then it will have the flavor of the Indian flavor into that. So I had already got it composed by someone. I got it composed by a very talented, aspiring music composer, Nihar Davle. I will talk about him in the further episodes. He's a very talented music director, music composer, coming from A.R. Rahman's academy. He has learned music there, and he is a freelancer doing music now. So I had approached him, and already I had made themes with the help of him, and he had already recorded some themes for Hamlet, for each or for most of the plots, and for thematic characters which will suit. So all that music was also ready, which I made Parshuramji listen to it. After that I finished. I said, "Sir, almost all is done." I could see a smile on his face, and there I understood that yes, somewhere I think I have achieved my goal of seeking permission from him. He got up, said nothing. He gave me a script. I had a script of Hamlet, which he had written for 2.5, but he gifted me a script which he had written, the whole script of 5 hours he had written. So that script I did not have. He presented me and he said one thing, "Mandar, yes, we'll go further. You proceed. I'm there with you." And that was his support, and he said, "Yes, I'm granting you permission, and I'm very impressed with your idea, and I hope it does well on the stage as well." So looking at my passion, he was so happy. And thank you very much, sir, for this lovely script, without which my Hamlet would have not been possible at all. Thank you once again for granting me permission and believing me, and having that conviction and that. Thank you very much, and thank you very much to support me in wholeheartedly every time. So in the next episode, I will be taking you how I could identify the proper cast and the proper crew or the technicians who will be associated with the production, how I could assemble them. So that is another interesting journey. Hope you stay tuned for the next episode as well. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day.